You may be wondering how to take regular old food colors and turn them into something that you can paint with. Today I will show you how to do just that. You can create so many different styles and designs with edible paint. These are some of the cakes that I've created using painting techniques. Stick around to learn how. It's easy to do. Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you don't already know, my name is Brittnee. I'm a pastry chef. I like decorating cakes and making chocolates. If you're into that kind of thing, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I make videos every Thursday. All right, to get started, you're going to need some supplies. First of all, you'll need some colors, edible colors. So here are the things that you can use. Cocoa powder, if you want brown, some metallic powders, powdered colors. These are from the brand Loran. I like these. This is what I usually use as powdered colors, but you can also use food gels. Those work good too. Shimmer dust. That's all I have for colors. You will need a paint vehicle for all you artists out there. Your vehicle, speaking of vehicles, that motorcycle's loud. The motorcycles outside my apartment are always loud. You'll also need a paint vehicle. In this case, we're going to use lemon extract. You just need some sort of alcohol that will evaporate quickly. You can also use vodka, but lemon extract smells like fruit, so I always use lemon extract. You're going to need some paint brushes. Don't use paintbrushes you've used with paint, obviously, but you're going to want to buy some fresh paintbrushes that you'll only use for edible things. You'll also want something to mix your paints on. I use these awesome plastic paint palettes. You can get these at any craft store. For years and years, I just use a Tupperware lid because it has that little rim that keeps the paint in. So you can use a Tupperware lid or you can get some of these palettes. You can see I've used this one a lot. I also have a fresh one. And then you'll of course need a cake covered in fondant, or you can just have a plain sheet of fondant if you're just practicing painting. I like to have a plain sheet of fondant rolled out anyway, because when you mix your colors, you're going to want to test how they'll look on the actual cake fondant. So that scrap of fondant comes in handy for testing out colors and practicing designs. And in case you're not familiar with some of these supplies, I will put links down below of where you can purchase them. I've prepared a section of my cake by piping and smearing on some textures with royal icing to show you how to use the paints for one of my favorite cake designs. While I wait for that to dry, let's experiment with some other designs first. Let's start by mixing some powder paint first. I'm going to take the blue and just dump a little bit of powder onto the palette. Then I'm going to take the lemon extract and I'm going to pour it in a separate section of the palette, because that way we'll have more control of how much we mix with the powder. So now I'm going to dip my paintbrush into the lemon extract and move a little bit over to the blue and then stir. I'm just stirring until the powders kind of disintegrate so that it's nice and smooth. It'll look like a watercolor paint. And literally, that's as easy as it is to mix the paint. For the design I'm doing first, I also want some green, so I'm going to quickly mix up some green paint. So this is just an idea you can try out where you let the paint run down the cake, kind of letting it drip. This is just giving you a few ideas of how you can use the paint. You don't have to do any of these ideas. You can make up your own techniques. I'm just here to teach you how to make the paint. But these are some of the techniques I've done in the past and I've liked. So I'm purposely letting them kind of run and drip together a little bit. And then I'm saving a little bit of room for a metallic stripe. Now while that's drying, I'm just mixing some silver paint for my stripe. Now I've got my silver and I want to do a stripe in between the green and blue. You have to do a few coats to get it thick enough. So that's just an idea of something you can try out. Some stripes, some dripping, some metallic paint, and you could do this around the whole cake. This next technique I use a lot when I want the fondant to be one color, but I want it to have a bit of texture rather than a smooth, solid color like what you would get when you color the fondant before putting it on the cake. I like to paint it after because this has a cool velvety texture. I think it has a little more character to it than just using colored fondant that's purple. So you just take like your solid color and you just dab it on like this. So I start with one coat usually, and I just kind of like am tapping it with the brush. Basically, I'm just building more and more color. And whenever you're happy with it, you can stop. I think it looks pretty cool. So along with painting dripping stripes and velvet texture, you can also paint cleaner images that aren't so abstract looking. I'm going to now mix some gel paint. I'm going to use yellow, and I'm going to attempt to paint a little emoji on the top of the cake just for fun. Obviously this cake is just an experiment. It's nothing fancy or finished looking, just to show you kind of how the edible paints I'm mixing are looking on a cake. I'm going to take my cutest tiny little spoon with cocoa powder and put it in there to mix some brown. And now I need some lemon extract. For the yellow, I'm going to add the yellow to the lemon because the gel is very concentrated. This is looking pretty good, this yellow. And now we'll mix our brown with the cocoa. Dip my brush in the lemon extract and mix some brown. There we go, that's a nice smooth brown. I'm testing it and I like it. So let's move on to the design. All right, with my yellow paint, let's see if I can make a nice circle or not. I'm going to use the turntable actually to help me by just holding this and spinning it. Hey, not too bad. You can add more if you want it darker, or keep it pretty watery looking. It's gonna end up being a cute little watery emoji here. Watercolor emoji. And when my smiley face is dry, I can start painting the eyes. I'm just going to start with 2 dots to mark the spot where I want them, and then kind of mark the smiley face. So I was going to paint the upside down smiley because it's my favorite emoji, but now I'm realizing on the top of the cake it doesn't matter. It can be right side up or upside down. That's kind of funny. Didn't mean to do that. There's our little smiley guy. He's not exactly like the emoji, but he looks pretty good. Now these are all of the colors we're going to need to paint the royal icing section on our cake. So for this section, I've piped the royal icing to kind of look like some abstract plants and flowers. I'm going to start by painting the background section a really watered down green. And in some places, I'll add a bit of a darker green. Now I'm going to add in some blue background. I'm going to start light. And it's okay if you mix colors a little bit, if they go well together. The green and blue make a nice teal. Now I'm just moving on to the purple. I'm going to do some purple flowers. Now I'm moving on to the maroon color. I'm going to paint these flowers here. As you paint, you'll continuously be adding more lemon extract or more powders or more gels because the consistency will continually change as you're painting and the lemon evaporates. So just adjust as you go. So that's our finished kind of abstract plant scene. Usually I blend the colors a little bit more, but since I'm just showing you this today, that's kind of just the process. We've got our drip and our velvet texture, and of course a little smiley. And now, just because we have some extra space on our cake, I'm going to show you what the pink pearl dust looks like painted, and also show you one last technique if you want to make a mess in your kitchen. And just because I want an excuse to use the gold paint, we're going to test out a splatter and see what that might look like. All right, so here's what the pink pearl dust looks like, just so you can see. It's very light, and it's not as shiny or metallic-y as the silver and gold metallic paint. It shimmers when you change light, but that's what that looks like. It's pretty. But here is what the gold looks like. This is truly, truly metallic. Psh. Okay, now let's see if we can get a nice splatter. So you're gonna hold your finger out and hit it again. You're going to hold your finger out and hit it against it. I can't. There we go. There we go. Okay, hold your finger out. Camera went out of focus. Things are getting crazy. I really am making a mess. There we go. I better not do any more. This is really making a mess. It probably would help to go down like that. There we go. Now we're making progress. You get the idea with that. It's really pretty. Really, really pretty. And I have some really pretty metallic on my coat now, which is great. I like it. Well, I definitely made a mess today, but had a lot of fun showing you different types of painting techniques you can use to paint fondant. Let me know in the comment section down below which technique is your favorite, or if you have your own that you want to try or have tried before, let me know what that is. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. If you found it helpful, be sure to give the video a like down below. For more videos like this, subscribe to my channel. To learn how to cover a cake dummy in fondant, like the cake that we used today, go ahead and check out this video. Looks like I have a big mess to clean up and lots of gold splatters all over the kitchen, so I better go. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.